So, looking at an example of measures of dispersion, this is question three in your homework. A, find the range, and B, the standard deviation for the given sample. I'm first going to swing this out to Excel to kind of walk you through some of this. Let me see if I can get this to cooperate with this here. So we'll click on our little box here, open in Excel, click on this one. So it looks like it gives a fresh one. I got to enable editing. Looks like it didn't take it, so click it again. Looks like it took it that time. Let's see if I can make this all work here. So one thing that's not a bad idea is to sort it. So if we go to data up here, data, there it goes. And if I highlight these numbers here and hit sort A to Z, it should move them there. So my range, range, off to the side here, I'm going to put my range and it's going to equal the biggest value, which is in A9. And I want to subtract, hit my minus sign on the screen, a little dash, and I want to subtract A1, that's my smallest value, hit enter. My range is going to be 1.64. Now in our homework, how does it say it wants that? So it just says type in decimal, so 1.64 is what we're looking for. So we got the range knocked off. Now the sample standard deviation. And they want this to round S to the nearest hundredth in the end. So we don't do any rounding until the very end. So I'm gonna go back to my spreadsheet, see if I can find the correct one here. Got two of them open. Click on that one. Yep, that one works. So I forgot to close that other one out. So now to find the standard deviation, our formula was, let's see if I can write that. So S equaled the square root of, and then we had inside here x minus x bar squared, all divided by the sample size by, and you actually have to drop it down by one when you're doing a sample mean. That's just part of the research says the total frequency divided, subtracted by one. So there's our formula. So notice how x is our values here. X bar would be the mean of that data. So I'm going to come down here below range and click a box here, a cell, if I can. Click select. Click on a box here. And I'm going to, you can see I got a little something here. Let me get that out of the way. So right below the range, I'm going to go ahead and just put the word mean. But then to the box next to it, I want to actually calculate the mean. So remember, the mean is actually called the average on Excel. So if I hit equals, I start typing average in, AV, there's my average. If I double click it, didn't work, double click it, there it goes. I get the word average out. Now it's asking what do you want to average? And a couple ways of doing it. You can type in A1 and then find the colon and go down to A9. And that'll give you your, got the wrong parenthesis, that'll give you your mean. Now, we also want this x minus bar. So x minus bar means we want this piece of data here and we want to subtract the mean from that. So if I do that, if I go equals 80, I'm sorry, is it what? A1 minus, and down here our mean was in this B12. If I enter, that give me the difference would be a negative. Now, what gets trickier though is if I drag on down here, it's not going to do it correctly because if I drag from here to here, notice how if I click on that, it went A2 minus B13. Well, there is no cell in B13, so they just simply did 84 minus 0. So to make the second value not move, so let's go back up here. Let's hit this, highlight this again, hit delete, make that go away. If we click back up here, to make this work, here's my little formulary. If I put dollar signs in front of the B in front of the 12, it will actually lock in that cell. So the dollar sign, if I go in front of the 12 and do a dollar sign, that should lock in that cell. So if I hit enter, now if I drag this down, notice how it's now doing A1. Let's see, I should have A2 here, not A1. Let's see here. So there he goes. Didn't change here. So now I'm in. So notice how it is doing the 84.54, but notice how B12 is still that same cell. So if I drag this on down, it should give me these values here. Now, if I average these values, if I hit equals, if I sum these values here, if I sum these values, notice how it gives me uh, really 4.64 to the negative 14. That means really like, that really means like 0.00000, like 14 zeros, well, 13 zeros and then a 4. So essentially, if I come up back up here, if I go up here and just if I get this thing to go away, let's see my stuff here. Let me pause for a second. Notice how this number is in scientific notation. That really means like, bring this over here. This really means like 4.26 times 10 to the negative 14. This negative 14 means you're dividing by 14 tens. This means this decimal should have moved over 14 places. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's have we got all the way over here. So you have a bunch of zeros like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 zeros and then that 4. So notice how that's, if I put this in like decimal notation, it's just like 0.0000. So essentially this is basically 0. So notice that if I just try to sum these together, I can't average those together like they are. So that number is useless to us. But what I can do though is square that. So what we can do in this case is square those values. So if I come back out of here, let me erase this here. So if I come over to C, and I just simply say, hey, equals, and I can choose cell B1, and then I can square it, or actually, we could probably put square in front of that. Let's see if we can type square, SQUA. I don't think so. Square, I think, is just, we have to do B1, and then squaring is the little rooftop key. So if I hold down the shift key, the rooftop's above the number 6, right? That little rooftop, and then put a 2 there. That will actually do this x minus x bar squared. So, because B1 was x minus x bar, so now I'm squaring it. Now notice how here all I gotta do is drag down and it's going to do those numbers for me. Now what I can do is, this number was useless to me over here. So what I want is the sum. I should have a summation symbol here. Sorry, lost that part of it, didn't I? It's the summation of those values. There was a little summation symbol out in front. So I have to add all those numbers together. So I have to add all the numbers in this cell here. So I'm going to put the word sum right below this. And then here in this column, I'm going to actually do the sum of those. So this is going to be the top. So if I hit equals and hit SUM and then double click it, if I drag these in, it should automatically add all those together for us. So that's x minus x bar squared added all together. So I get this 2.198. So that's actually the numerator. And also I have to go n minus 1. So n minus 1, well, notice how there was 9 pieces of data. So that's going to be 9 minus 1. So if I hit equals 9 minus 1, it should give me the, the 8. So if I now divide that by 8, so if I can now put that somewhere, so we'll just put that here. Say, hey, we're going to divide this number by this number. So this is going to be D11. If I divide D11 by this cell here, which is B14, hit enter, that'll give me this fraction here. I still got to take the square root of that. So if I go right underneath that and hit equals, and square root, if I do SQ, the square root is there. And then if I type in this cell here, which would be D14, I can get then, let's see, look right there, square root, that looks better. Hit enter, it's giving me the standard deviation of 0.52421, but I think they want us to round it to the hundredths place. So around to the hundredths place, it looks like it's going to be 0.52. Now, instead of doing all that math, I could say, hey, can you just do the standard deviation? So if I hit standard deviation and hit equals, because this should be the standard deviation going the long way. Oops, got too quick here. So notice how this was a standard deviation that I did by actually doing the math slowly. These were my x's. This was x minus bar, and this was x minus bar squared. But then I had to sum that. That sum was here. And then I had to divide that by 8. So this number divided by this number gave me that. And I still had to take the square root, and that gave me this. Now, instead of doing all that, I should be able to just simply say equals. And there should be a standard deviation button on this thing. So let's see if I can find this thing. Oh, it starts with S. This looks like it's ST. So ST. Now we have this DVP, DVEPS. Notice how ours was doing the ones with the samples. So if I double click this one, all it's asking for is our data. So A1 through A9 is all we really need to give it. So if I give it the data A1 through A9 and hit enter, notice how it does give me the standard deviation without having to do all the math. So we still get this 0.052. Okay. So I want to show you that the math can be done and you can do math on Excel, but Excel has some very powerful formulas that you can do as well. Okay. So I'll stop there and we'll actually come to our homework here and see what do we say that is. 0.052 if I round to the hundredths place. So if I type in 0.52, keep your fingers crossed, it does check out. All right. So I'll stop at that point.